I walk down the hallway distractedly and rub my twice-pointed ear. I wear my solid black flight suit. Kuro shoves me from behind. I whirl around and glare up at Kuro. You're lucky I didn't throw you into the wall, Kuro. I should have been chosen for flight school, not you. You shouldn't have been given the yellow stripe on your sash. Kuro grabs up the sash tails that hang down my leg and rubs his finger across the offending yellow stripe. Someday I'm going to stuff you in that smelt and melt you down. I slap Kuro's hand away. You can try. This time, it won't be me pulling your shoulder out with a little fight on the mats. It'll be the council's decision. Kuro snaps. Someday, I'll get you. He walks down the hall. I slam my fist into the wall and glimpse my watch. Fauza, I'm late. I rush to the nearest elevator. Deok bumps into my nose. I step to the left and so does Deok. I snap. Deok, would you let me through? I'm late for my flight instructions. Touchy, son. I'm late for my communications lesson and I still have to get back to my apartment and get my books. Fine, you go to your class and I'll go to mine. What's got you so upset? It's Kuro. I'll tell you later, okay? I hop around Deok into the elevator and call to the audio sensor to go to the upper flight deck. The elevator closes and moves upward. When the elevator opens, I am met by Philp, the senior fighter pilot. Philp wears the black flight suit with the white panel that starts at the width of his neck, widens out to his hips, then comes to a point just below the pistol belt, and a dark red sash. He stands with his arms crossed on his chest and the white-gloved fingers of his left hand taps impatiently on his right forearm. You're late. I ought to take you to the mats and teach you discipline. I was. Philp snaps. I don't care what you were doing. Shut up and get to the simulator room, now. Yes, Philp. I pick up Philp's thoughts in my head. Just wasting my time teaching this alien to fly. He'll never fly a fighter in battle, so why did Lasha talk me into tapping Sonaro? I think to myself. You're right, Lasha shouldn't have bothered. I'll never be a full member of the Astracy. We walk through the flight line to the pilot's lounge, then climb the stairs from the ready room to the classrooms. I go to my locker and pull out my helmet. I walk around the corner and open a narrow door to the simulator. I sit down. The screen turns on and the program starts. On the video screen above the simulator controls, a team of dark menacing fighter ships rushes toward me. A stream of energy flows through the void of space toward my fighter. I bank my ship hard right. I glance at my threat board and groan because a pirate is locked on my tail. Where are my wingmates? Red 6 to anyone, I need assistance. My fighter plane shudders. I dive 6 o'clock low and throw the ship into a corkscrew, then bank left. I level out behind the pirate ship and open fire. The pirate ship explodes. I pull my ship out. Another pirate sweeps into my starboard side. I pull up. The lights flare, then goes dark. The simulator door opens. Philp snaps. That was pitiful, Sonaro. How do you expect me to give you a color, with so many failed sims? I bow my head. He adds. Go downstairs and wait for a vocabulary test. I climb out of the cubicle, put my helmet away, then walk downstairs to the flight lounge and sit down in one of the chairs. The loudspeaker turns on to announce. Shuttle 23, ready for takeoff. Hada, a tall slim man with brown short hair, enters the ready room and climbs the stairs. He wears the black flight suit with blue panels and a red sash with a dark stripe on the tail that sways to his mid-thigh. Philp says. Hada, you're back. That was my call. It seems they finished quicker than I thought. Sonaro's downstairs waiting on a vocabulary test. Could you go do that for me? Hada says. Right. Philp says. The list's in the console. I move to the door and stand just outside the lounge. Just beyond the refuel and rearm tunnels, stevedores buzz around a shuttle. Carrie counts boxes and checks a data pad in his arms. The stevedore calls. Where's box 32? I didn't see it in the load. Carrie, go find box 32 and fast. Towers already called Philp. Right. The stevedores move away from the shuttle to join Carrie to search for box 32. I duck under the rows of sleek fighter ships, past the fuel point, then slip over to the shuttle and rush up the ramp. I hide myself in the shadow of the inner door that goes to the cockpit, just as the stevedores return, hoist the errant box in and close the shuttle door. I settle myself behind the crates. I feel the shuttle, being raised to the retrieval deck. The shuttle stops, the engines surge, then the shuttle moves forward, gaining speed.
I watch Philp go down the stairs before I walk down the hall to the simulator control room. I step into the dark room and the lights pop on. I go to pick up the printout. When I see the control screen, I gasp. Level 10? Why is an apprentice fighting a level 10 simulator? I sit down and type in the order for the simulator report to be sent to the printer. I slap my thigh in irritation, then grab up the vocabulary paper and rush back to my office. The printer is rolling the paper onto the paper rest. I grab that up and bound down the stairs. Son, I reach the lower level and look around the empty flight lounge. I walk to the communications station on the wall and key for the central communications station. Diok shows on the screen. I say. Diok, I can't find Sonaro. He was supposed to be in the flight lounge, waiting for a vocabulary test. Do you know where he is? As far as I know, he should be with you. Was he upset? Yeah. I bumped into him just before he went to school and he was really upset. I asked him about it, but he was in too much a hurry to get to the flight deck. Could you make a general page for him to come back to the pilot's lounge? Sure. The screen returns to Kumani symbol. Diok's voice says through the loudspeaker. Sonaro. Report to the upper flight deck pilot's lounge. I sit down on the couch to wait.
Philp sits me in a chair. I'll go to the shuttle and call Lasha to tell her what her little pet has done. Philp leaves. Ed. Shouts. Keela. She enters the tent. Go get Shad and Adara. They'll need to be here when their whelp has to answer for his behavior. I snap. Adara is getting Shad and they're coming. Keela nods, then leaves. Ed. Pulls up a chair and flops into it. It's a shame Adara has to leave her stall to answer for you. Really, I thought especially I, taught you better than to do something like this. I just wanted to explore. Even though you knew you were forbidden to leave the ship. Adara and Shad come through the curtained door. Adara kneels in front of me with her face wet. Sonaro, why did you do it? I would have come back before the shuttle left. Shad says. Even though you knew that you weren't allowed to come down to a planet. But? Quiet. Philp enters the tent again. I talk to Lasha and she's furious. She wants Sonaro back on board, as soon as it's safe to get him out undetected. Then we're to take him to the gymnasium. You're in for a bad punishment, boy. It may even be cause enough for Lasha to agree to let me fail you from fighter pilot school. Amita can have you, as a mothership pilot. I just wanted to see the mysterious city. I was going to come back. Don't fail me from fighter school. Quiet, Sonaro. Nothing will be decided until we get you back to the ship. Ed. Glares a warning at Philp. Carrie enters with an empty crate. Here's the crate you asked for, Philp. Adara repeats. A crate? Shad snaps. You can't possibly make Sonaro ride in a crate all the way to the ship. Philp snaps. Not all the way, Shad, just to the shuttle. When the doors are closed, we'll let him out. I don't want to kill him. It's just the only way I can think of to get him to the shuttle without the worlders seeing us. I gape at the dark interior of the crate. I was walking back to my house at Bristol Camp on Regalis when I was 7 years old when my mind hears. Damn, he saw everything. I panic and run toward the nearest house. I scramble under a porch. Aldenon's hand scrapes my arm as I press myself against the house. I am tempted to look into their minds to learn what they didn't want me to see, but my mother told me I wasn't supposed to pry into someone's mind without asking, because it was rude. I am to use my voice with people outside my family. I scrunch my nose from the smell of decay. A black spider tickles the second point of my left ear. I am startled when a mouse scampers over my right ankle. The spider startles and bites my ear. My ear begins to sting and I break out in sweat. My sight blurs a bit around the edges. The large arm of the foreman withdraws. Aldenon calls quietly. Sonaro, come out. I was just coming to find out why you are out so late. Your dad would be worried to know you were wandering around town after dark. I shake my head. No. I'll walk you home. It must be dark and scary in there. Aldenon's voice is soft and reassuring, but his thoughts are panicked and menacing. I cry. Go away. My head begins to pound. Oh, now, don't say that. Come out and everything will be okay. I begin to shake. No, it won't. You want to hurt me for seeing that? Arlington snaps. Aldi, let me try. If you won't tell anybody about this, I'll let you go, without hurting you. Now, come out. Arlington's thoughts are threatening. I whimper and press my hands over my ears. I don't want to sense what they are thinking. Aldenon says. Sonaro, I know your dad's sick. No, he's not sick. He's just mad. He's getting mad more often, isn't he, Sonaro? He's got green around his eyes. Does anyone else in your family have green around their eyes? I sob and press my head between my knees. Arlington says. He needs a doctor, but if you don't promise that you won't tell anybody what you saw, we won't have a doctor come to help your dad. I shake my head until my neck aches. Your dad will die if a doctor doesn't come, Sonaro. Do you want to see your dad die, knowing you could have helped him? I crawl over to the side of the porch. As I scramble out, Arlington grabs my hair. Got him. I panic. A bright aura surrounds my body and flows through Arlington's arm, then makes his hair stand on end. Arlington howls and clutches his head. Once my hair is freed, I run between the houses to home. I hear the voices around me speaking Astracy inside the tent and return my attention to the present. Shad says. And Adara and me? Philp says. You're Astracy. No one's going to notice you two entering a shuttle. I shudder. I can't. Philp snaps. You have to. Get in, Sonaro. No. Philp begins to draw his laser gun. Ed. Grabs Philp's arm. Stop, Philp. Stunning him won't help. I stand and crouch down in a fighting stance. You do that again to me and I will fight you. I'm not getting into that crate. Shad says. Show some respect for your senior, Sonaro. Not if that senior has no respect for me. I hop on the balls of my feet, but I don't move Shad. Ed. Shouts. Stop this. We're not getting anywhere, challenging one another. Sonaro refuses the crate, so we'll have to do something else. Adara says tensely. Let's wait until nightfall. Sonaro's already dressed in his bank flight suit. Ed. Says. How about a helmet? It has a dark faceplate that will cover his yellow skin and slanted eyes. Philp snarls. I'm not letting him fly. He's a near color, Philp. You know he has the training. Didn't you hear me earlier, Ed. He's suspended. Give me your sash, boy. I cup my hands protectively over my sash. Ed. Is rigid, with his hands clenched at his sides. And I said Lasha would decide that when we got to the ship. We're not there yet. We're trying to get him there. Don't give it to him, Sonaro. A voice speaking basic calls through the tent flap. This is the chief of police. I was told you had a disturbance. Can I come in? Philp snaps. Fauza, now what? Ed. Gives Philp a warning glare.